Yeah, okay, everyone should just own plants, okay? Hey guys, my name's Rob. Welcome back to my channel, Rob's Plants and Things, and today we have some growth updates. So it's very hot in my plant room right now, so if you hear the air conditioner going, I'm sorry. I just figured you don't want a very sweaty Rob on your screen, So today we have some growth updates. I have some new leaves, and I have a lot of new roots actually, which is surprising. I'm one of those people that likes to spy on roots on my plants, and there's some that's actually coming out of the pot, and I'm really surprised by it, so we're going to chat about that too. So the first one we have for today is my Philodendron Gloriosum, and this is basically my favorite plant that I own, and I think it will be my favorite plant for a very long time. I am a little bit, slightly disappointed in the new growth because it's not as fat as I'd like it to be. So if you'd seen my previous video, you would see that I actually, my finger went through this leaf here, there, which is great, right? I was so upset when that happened. And so I was like, oh, it's okay, it's still a pretty leaf even though there's a hole in it. And then this is the new growth that came out. When did it come out? It came out a week ago, it's not hardened off yet, so you can see that it's still pretty fresh. I'm a little bit disappointed in it. I still love it, don't get me wrong, but because this was getting fatter, this was getting really round, and then that came out a bit narrow, and it is because I started putting in grow lights in my setup. So I think Gloriosum is one of those plants that you can manipulate how the leaf looks based on the light that you give it. And well, I guess, and the thing is with Gloriosums, if you give them more light, they tend to give off thinner leaves. If you give them less light, they get fatter leaves. So what I've done is, if anyone's seen my videos before, it usually sits over there. So now I've moved it down to there, so that it's further away from the grow light to try and get thicker leaves. But this is a very, 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 very giving plant. Everyone should own one. Anyone who wants to get into plants needs to figure out a way to own one. The learning curve can be a bit steep because of the way that it's potted and the care and all that, and the fact that it has to be in a long pot, not a round pot. But once you get around that, it is such a rewarding plant to grow. I think I get it just gives off growth like no one's business, and it's one of the most beautiful plants you'll ever own, and prices are going down. Everyone should get this. This one probably gets some of the prime real estate in my room, so it gets some of the best light, and I also check it every couple days for moisture. I use a moisture meter. I stick it in the soil in multiple spaces, and I make sure that the moisture meter hits 3 before I water it thoroughly. Now, let's have a look at also it's giving off some new growth, but it's really deep down in the soil, so I can't really show you, or else the soil's gonna go everywhere. But we also have some amazing, if I can get this, yep, there we go, root growth on this thing. Look at that. Gloriosums also have really cool roots. They're pinkish and fuzzy, and this is, that's so cool. So it is in a very shallow pot, so I can see why the roots are coming out, and I'm just so surprised that these roots have come out so quickly. That's amazing. I actually have another one that you're gonna love if you love this, but yeah, I think the fact that there's the moisture drips into this catching area here, it promotes the roots to kind of creep out and look for more moisture, which it's not a bad thing. Roots can grow out of their pot, they're fine, they'll be adapted to it, and they'll still get the moisture they need. But that is, yeah, that's my, there we go. That's my Philodendron Gloriosum. Okay, let's just stick to the crawlers for now then. I was hoping for this leaf to come out before I film this video, but it's taking its goddamn time. So we're just going to talk about this thing. So this used to be fuller. I don't know if I featured it before, but I've cut it down to propagate. And because I wanted to give one to a friend that I'm going to see in London in a couple weeks. And 1 week actually. Oh, anyway. So this one's been growing basically, and the Pastazanum gets leggier and more gangly than the Gloriosum. And it also turns to face the light a lot, so that's kind of one of the reasons I cut it, because I had some leaves pointing one way and the other way. I couldn't figure out how to position the pot so that it looked nice in my room, so I cut it. And that's propagating for my friend. And this is the plant that I'm gonna keep. So that's the last leaf that I gave off, and this is the newest leaf that we have here. There we go. There we go. So yeah, I mean nothing. Oh. Both cats are in here. So I have no idea what that was. But cool. Okay. Anyway, so that's the new growth there. And the one thing that's really cool on this one is the root growth on this is like the plant's all the way over here, and it didn't now because this was the newest part of the plant. There wasn't much root here. It's grown like a lot. So like if you look at it, there's roots coming out on this end already. Like how? I propagated this like a month ago. It cannot be that quick. Like not that quick. That's ridiculous. That's amazing. So the only thing I can attribute the amazing root growth to is the great white mycorrhizal fungi that I use. And yeah, so I water, every time I water I use a little bit of the mycorrhizal fungi, so that might be why. But you know, good for my plants. But yeah, so the more exciting thing is the roots on this and not the leaf. I don't know how this leaf is gonna look because I recently had a thrip infestation. Not infestation, a thrip attack. I got rid of them like within like a couple days. They were gone. I haven't seen any of them recently. And some of the new leaves on some of the new growth on my plants looks a bit but you know, oh well, still growing, and I got rid of the thrip, so the next growth is going to be better. But yeah, that is my Philodendron Pastazanum. So anyone who's seen my video titled Plants I'm Surprised I Own or something like that would know that this is my Philodendron. This is my Alocasia Dark Star. And I didn't intend on owning this because I actually thought when I ordered online I was getting a Regal shield. This thing over here. But alas, it was mislabeled and they sent it to me and I told them straight away and they were like, oh sorry, you can keep it. And I was like, sure. And then they gave me a voucher that I haven't used yet. Anyway, so this thing, I love it. It was gorgeous, but it wasn't giving me any new growth. So I'm pretty sure I got this like 4 months ago, and it gave me like zilch, nada, nothing. And was it 4 months? Anyway, few months ago, and it took so long, and then recently it just started. Archie, do not knock over the camera. You can do whatever you want. Do not knock over the camera. Stop. Stay. Good. Good. I'm just very panicked that Archie's gonna ruin things. He's a troublemaker. So it took a while for this thing to grow, and I don't know why, because I didn't like up-pot it very much. Like I repotted it, but I didn't upsize the pot by, like I gave it basically the same size pot. So I don't know what happened. And then it started putting out this, it's put out this gorgeous leaf. Look at this. It's, oh. Now, this is one of the plants that did get thrips on it. So that you can see there's some damage to the leaf there, like the little dots there. You can see it more on the back actually. Can you? It's not really catching it. Can you see that? There we go. Like all those like little spots there, that's the thrip damage, I'm pretty sure. But otherwise, the leaf is pretty freaking healthy and huge. Like, I'm surprised. So, it's forgiven purely because it gave me such a gigantic leaf. Like, look at that. Look. That's pretty cool, right? And the cool thing is, I recently went to water it, like, and suddenly, roots, like no one's business. Look at that. Just like, you know, just reaching, just growing, just doing its thing, you know. So maybe it was just trying to put out as much roots as it could. I also found that found out that the new leaf grew out from this. So that was embedded in this petiole. So I think that's like an abandoned leaf that, or like it just got snipped off, and I don't know how. And so then this one had to develop from it. So that's probably another reason why it took so long. But, I mean, other than that, she's looking fine. Like, these things can get huge, by the way. Like, they can get the size of the Regal shield. So I'm super excited about that. Yeah. So I really want this to get just as big as that. It's gonna, hopefully, I can make it survive through my first Canadian winter. But, yeah, that is my Alocasia Dark Star. Oh, look. Come on, let's get a good look at that. That's cool, right? So this is my Philodendron Splendid, which is a cross between the... Oh, is it a melanochrysum and a verrucosum? Yes, I'm correct. Anyway, this thing I absolutely love, but it did my head in when I got it. I think... I bought it from someone here in Guelph off Facebook Marketplace, and he was really lovely, and we're still in touch actually. But I think that he grows things in more of like a greenhousey setup, whereas I don't. So this thing had to adapt quite a bit to my conditions without me realizing. I just thought, hey, heard it's a hardy plant, it's fine. So this is the oldest leaf, and you can see it's taken a hit. And then the newest leaf that I had when I got it, took a huge hit. I don't even know how it got that damaged. And then I think in the period when I was adapting to my conditions, it really took a hit by putting out this leaf. Like, look at that. That looks just diseased, doesn't it? Oh, that's upset. If you see black stuff on my leaves, it's actually because I just like repotted stuff in these moss poles with aroid mix, because I'm so sick of using moss because it just dries out so quickly and there's no way I can keep it moist. So I'm trying aroid mix in the poles, and I think it should work because, I mean, climbing plants, like in nature, like climb on bark. So, you know, give you an update on that. If you like these moss poles, I can leave a link to the seller's Etsy shop. He was absolutely lovely and actually drove it over to me instead of mailing it, because he lives in like the town over, which is 20 minutes away. So that was really nice of him, and it saved me like $40. So anyway, but the newest leaf looks great. Starting to look good. Now, I actually think this was the culprit of the thrip infestation thrip attack that I had, because this leaf came out looking real wonky, and I can put a picture up of it somewhere here. Like, it looked so weird. And I was talking to Lori about it, and she was like, send me a picture. So I sent her a picture, and she was like, hey, looks really funky. Check it for mites. No mites. But, you know, it was one of the plants that had thrips on it. So I don't see thrips anymore, and I did get my, the copper thripor eye, which is like the thrip killer buggy thingy. I can't even remember what they're called. But anyway, and since then, no issues. And I can see them flying around here somewhere sometimes. So, not the thrips, the beneficial bugs. But other than that, it's giving me a new leaf, so it's finally taking off with the growth. It took like a month and a half to put out this leaf and unwrap it. I had to unwrap this leaf myself. And then it took like 2 weeks to put this leaf out. And now it's finally giving me this one like a week after this one finally hardened off. So, looking pretty good. I think it's finally settled. I don't think we have anything... No. So we have no root growth on the bottom here. But that's fine. I don't care. It's gorgeous. It is growing roots into the... It was growing roots into the moss pole. Not into this yet, because I just potted it today. But this is looking pretty good. I think it would like a little bit higher humidity, and that's fine. I mean, I've been slowly letting the humidity drop to like 55 to 60%, because I'm trying to get my plants to kind of like acclimatize to lower humidity in the preparation for winter. And also, I just kind of want to keep it at a lower humidity because it's just so sweaty in here sometimes, and I need to study and do work, and this is not conducive to doing work. I'm not one of those people who likes to put things in tents because I like to be around my plants. So I need to find the happy balance, and if my plants have to learn to deal and tolerate, they have to tolerate it. To tolerate with the conditions that I prefer, then that's fine. So I'm trying to keep the humidity, I mean, at the moment it's dropped to about 55 before, but I'm trying to keep it between 60 to 65. And it's a learning process at the moment because I never had to do that back in Sydney, Australia. So, but other than that, that is my Philodendron Splendid. So this is my Monstera Esqueleto, and this thing, ooh, that was embarrassing. This thing cannot catch a break. Seriously, he cannot get a break. It's a poor guy. So it came with this leaf. Oh, what's happening here? Well, that's annoying. Anyway, so it came with this leaf here, which was immaculate, and it was fine. And I don't know what's going on here. Oh, that's weird. Just noticed that today. That's okay. Leaves yellow. Leaves yellow here and there. It's fine. It's okay. Lying to myself. But it came with this leaf by initially, and it was happy. And then it put out. It took so long for this leaf to unwrap, and I finally realized why it had some sort of mite or damage to it. That you can just tell that's some like mite damage or something. Oh, cover my face. You see? Yeah, like you can just tell there was some sort of thrip or mite damage. So that's disappointing. And then it finally put out another leaf that was looking okay, and then I friggin' ripped it when I went to water it. Like, this poor guy, his name's Tim Burton, by the way. This poor plant, like, at every turn, I'm damaging it somehow. Like, poor thing. He must be screaming at me this whole time. And then today I, like, gave him a new pole, and he's just like, what are you doing? But otherwise, I do think that the Esqueleto is meant to be in, like, higher humidity, so it might, like, this kind of stuff might just be a humidity thing. I'm just gonna let it do its thing. I don't mind these kind of things, because that's how things look in nature anyway. But you can tell that it's still getting bigger, so it's happy, and when I repotted it, it was growing lots of roots, so that's great. I cannot wait for it to get, like, really, like, thin-leaved and big. I have nothing else to say about this thing other than, like, I feel sorry for it that it's with me, because I'm clumsy and I keep hurting it. And the more holes and leaves that they have, the more I'm, like, prone to damaging things. But yeah, I feel so bad for him. It's like, I feel so guilty because I love this plant. This plant makes me so happy. And that's not a thrip, that is a piece of soil. Cool. This plant makes me so happy because it looks so cool and it's growing in such a cool pattern. I just keep damaging the leaves. And like, he can't catch a break. But other than that, he's a very nice plant. And I do love it. So that is my Monstera Esqueleto. This is Alocasia Watsoniana. This is the glossy version. You can get the Doff, which is the velvety version, which I'm looking for, by the way, so if anyone has one, call your girl. Yeah. But anyway, this was one of my wish list plants that I managed to get from Lori. Randomly, she like put it online and I was like, I want it! And it was such an affordable price as well. But, it came with a bit of a wonky leaf and I was fine with that because it was adapting to a condition, so that's fine. It dropped that leaf very quickly but put out this leaf, which was bigger than the original leaf anyway. Get a load of that. Look. Oh. Yeah. So, I remember in the video plants I don't like, I said I don't like the poly or the Amazonica, but I did want this. And I got it. So I'm very happy about that. These can get big, by the way. Very big. If you give them great conditions. And it seems to be very hardy. Like, humidity drops. I mean, it didn't get thrips, even though it was right next to my Melanochrysum that did. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, so I'm really happy with it. It's sturdy. It can go through droughts. Like, the moisture meter has gone down to like 1 before and it's been fine, no drooping. So it is a very, very easy plant to look after. Like, I mean, there's some damage on it and I think that might be drops in humidity. I don't care. That's fine. Then yeah, I really don't mind. I've seen online that people have trouble keeping more than one leaf on this. Fingers crossed. I can keep more than one leaf when the leaf comes out. But this thing is honestly, alocasia wise, the easiest alocasia I've had. Like, other than my variegated mycorrhiza, but that's in semi-hydro, so I don't count that as like easy because it just gets water when it wants. But yeah, like I've had other alocasias where I'm just struggling so much to just keep them like, you know, they just droop all the time, or they like, you know, you miss a watering and they drop a leaf, and you know, that kind of stuff. This doesn't do that. This has dried out, no signs of drooping at all. And I think there's some new roots. I saw some new roots. I can't find. Oh yeah, there. Like you can see it, but not really. There, right there. That's a new root. But you know, yeah, I absolutely adore this plant. It's great. It is fantastic. Own it. If you can find one for a good price, get it, because it gets big and it's easy care. And like it's one of those plants that like the leaf is so striking, you don't care if it has one leaf only. Like you're happy for it to drop a leaf and just have one, because it's like a statement kind of alocasia. So yeah, that is Alocasia Watsoniana. This is Philodendron Florida Bronze, and it is a hybrid between the Black Cardinal and the Florida. And anyone who knows me or have seen my channel knows that this was a plant I've wanted for a very long time. Like, a very long time. And because the Floridas are my favorite plant ever. And so, I just wanted all Floridas, and I now have all 4. So, now, the reason why I wanted to show this was because of a couple things. But it's so weird. So this had new roots grow. I repotted this like a couple weeks ago, and it had new roots coming at the bottom already, but those roots have disappeared. Like you can see a root there coming out of the like slot there, like here. But it had roots coming out the bottom, and now they've gone, which is like, that is so strange. Like that's never happened to me before. That it's really weird. But anyway, the other reason I wanted to highlight it is because this growth here. Look at that. Like, come on. Right? Like, that, if you'd seen my previous video, you would have seen that this was a little bit more like light colored, and now it's fading, and it is drop dead gorgeous. Look, I mean, that is a sexual leaf. Like, come on. It's hot. Like, it's hot. Right? Like, you can't deny it. Yeah, So this plant came in, now I can recommend this plant, because this plant came in moss, and I converted it, and it only dropped 1 leaf, no problems after that. Like, in the adaptation period, like, no issues. No, nothing. You will see, like, I had a squamacol that I converted from moss into soil, has lost every single leaf. Root system still there, stem still there. There's a petiole still there, no leaf on the petiole, but it's there. But it lost every leaf. This converted, no problem whatsoever. Amazing. Look at this. Look, I mean, yeah, this is a plant you should own. It was expensive though. It cost me like $130, but honestly it was worth every penny for me. I loved it. It was great. I'm trying this on a aroid pole as well. It had roots growing into the moss, so I've just inserted those roots into the aroid mix, and I've just left it. And we're gonna see if it grows and climbs and gets bigger, and I'm so happy. Like, can you tell I like philodendrons? Like, just a little bit. You know? So this one's a really happy story. This is my Anthurium. It's dripping on me. Stop weeing on me. Come on. How rude. It was such a devastating moment. I was checking the moisture on my milk confetti, which sits above it, in my, like, planter wall. And I dropped it, like the clumsy asshole that I am. And it fell on my silver blush, and it broke its new growth, and one of its leaves, and it left me this. And I was so upset, because anthuriums, if you grow anthuriums, you know, take so long to put out new growth. So long. And I was so upset. I was devastated. And so, this week, it finally gave me this little growth here. And I know it looks a little bit wonky, But I don't care, because it means it's happy. It's growing. I'm happy. The thing that I love about Anthurium growth, and everyone who grows Anthuriums will tell you this, is that the leaf starts out really tiny and then just expands. So you never really know how big the leaf is going to get until it's like fully hardened off, which is cool, right? But yeah, I'm over the moon about this plant finally growing. It is one of my favorite. Like, I didn't even know it existed until I saw it at Heather from We Pot Plants, her garage. And I was like, what is that? And then I found out it's actually meant to be hard to grow. But then I didn't have a hard time growing it. It's a slow grower though. Like, be patient if you get this thing. As with many Anthuriums, they're just slow. Deal with it. Deal with it. But the good thing is, I found that Anthuriums that I've converted from moss into soil are fine. No problems. Easy. No issues whatsoever. Super easy. So go for it. Get it if you want. I think I gel with Anthuriums because I tend to be a bit of an overwaterer anyway, so they kind of just like me because I never let them dry out. But anyway, this thing has ridiculous roots. It's growing roots like all the way there. It is like this root wasn't there like a few weeks ago, and I'm just gonna be cheeky and like pull it out there. Like, look at that. That's a cool root there, right? Look at that. So that's just growing into the soil. And I love Anthurium roots because they're nice, thick, and tuberous roots, and they're gorgeous. So, yeah. That is... it's so pretty. It's a bit torn, though. Well, that is my Anthurium Silver Blush. This is my Philodendron Florida Ghost. And this is... Oh, I keep saying this. This is one of my favorite plants ever. Any Florida. Just like, you know, it is one of my favorite plants. Whatever. Anyway, I bought this as a cutting. It was labeled as Florida Ghost Mint. And I know Florida Ghost Mint doesn't actually exist. It's just how much light you give it. So this was like already... it was already a cataphil when it was coming out. So I don't think I had much impact on the brightness of this leaf, but you can tell it's a ghost because it's so bright. And yeah, so what I've done now is I'm blasting it with a grow light. Like, it's just like literally on top of it, giving it as much light as I can because I want the leaves to be white. But I am so happy that it's growing because it took a very long time for it to root, for its roots to grow into more roots. So I'm very happy with it. I repotted it today. It was in a very large pot, which was my fault. Shouldn't have done that. I should have put it in a smaller pot. But, you know, I'm an idiot. Whatever. And I've given it its aroid mixed pole. Aroid pole. Whatever. Ooh, aroid pole. I like that name. Anyway, so it's... hopefully it's going to climb. It has roots going into the pole already. And I've just inserted them into the pole, hoping they'll grow. But, yeah, I am very happy with this thing. There's nothing else I can say about it. I rave about this plant all the time. This is like the plant that I show people that I'm like, this is the plant everyone should get. Along with the Gloriosum and Pastazanum and yeah, okay, everyone should just own plants, okay? Okay, this is Alocasia Regal Shield, and it's one of my favorite plants I've ever owned. I have a giant one here that's also putting out a new leaf. Over here. There. And you can see they both had a little bit of pest issues, like from the leaves there. Unfortunately, you can see the dotting. But I found over time that these dots go away because I had that on another Anthurium leaf. So, Anthurium leaf, Alocasia leaf. They're both growing new leaves, and one of the corms that I got from it just sprouted a new growth. So that's exciting as well. But the thing that I wanted to highlight on this is not the new leaf, because we all know this is gorgeous. Like this, I mean, we know, and it's getting bigger every time. We know it's gorgeous. We know the Regal Shield is gorgeous. It's like one of those like sought after plants. The cool thing is the roots on this thing. Because like all my other plants, it is giving off a ridiculous amount of root growth. So, yeah. And considering this had almost no roots when I potted it in this pot, pretty cool. Pretty cool. Yeah, this is fantastic. I could not ask for better roots on this thing. I could repot it. I don't want to. Because who's going to do that? Like, it's happy. And also, we're coming into fall. I don't want to do anything Like, I'm only gonna, like, unless I have to repot it, I'm not gonna repot unless it's spring, summertime, because it's just unnecessary stress on a plant that's already in a position that it doesn't like. So, it is reaching forward like that because it's sitting up there, over there. So, it's like it's looking for light. But I kind of like it like that. I kind of want it to, like, reach out and be like, hello, give me some light. So, this is pretty cool. I love this. The one thing that I'm really upset about is I was in Zehrs yesterday, and they are selling Regal shields for $45. Just sitting there in the supermarket, selling Regal shields, $45. Annoyed. I got this for like $75. Very annoyed, but you know what you gonna do. Yeah, I guess. Anyway, that is my Alocasia Regal shield. Look at that. Okay, so I couldn't end this video without talking about the Hoya bloom from last week. By the way, no one's watching that video, so just ignore that video. Whatever. Anyway, I am so excited for this. This is my favorite Hoya, and it's just about to bloom. As you can see, the peduncle is right there, and it's getting bigger. It's getting there, and I can see stuff popping out now. The new growth from it has dried out a bit, and it's growing new growth again from it. Someone on the previous video said that they will jinx the flower, and it will dry up and fall off. Very rude. Wow. It's like Lori saw that and was like, that's so mean. I was like, but why? Why would you say that? But anyway, he hasn't jinxed it as of yet. I am very careful with this plant. I'm not touching it whatsoever unless I have to and water it. And it's also giving me a new leaf, which is really exciting. So this thing just put out a huge vine and gave me nothing. So I'm very happy that it's giving me a new leaf and a peduncle. And I'm giving this as much light as I can to help it flower. And every time it needs watering, I'm using a higher in phosphorus fertilizer as well. So it's getting there. It's getting there. But also, like, this is just such a beautiful Hoya anyway. If you like the leaves, like, come on. Like, look at that. Look at, oh. But also, please bloom. Like, please bloom. Please. Like, look. Oh, look. Yeah. It's coming. It's getting there. It gets longer every day. So I don't know how long this is going to get. But it's a peduncle. And it's coming. And I'm looking at it. And I stare at it every day. And apparently... Oh. Oh. Apparently, it's got a very, very potent smell. So, hopefully I'll walk into the room and I'll smell it. But I have a very bad sense of smell. Like, I cannot smell anything unless someone points it out to me and I, like, get right up to whatever smells and I sniff it. Can't smell anything. So, I don't know. Anyway, that is my Hoya Caudata Sumatra. Okay, those were all the plants we are going to talk about today. I'm actually, like, everything's growing, to be honest. I'm actually in a position now that I'm actually really happy with how my plants are. I've had most of them for at least a couple months now. Some of them for like 5, some of them for, longer than that. And they're all settled and all happy now. And they're all used to the conditions. And so they're all giving off amazing growth, as you could tell. And the roots are nuts, which is always a good sign. Yeah, I'm actually at a point now that I feel happy. I'm not constantly buying plants anymore. I'm kind of like saving the money and like only buying plants that I really, 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 really want. And the cool thing is, next week I'm going to a plant market, and there is a plant that I've reserved that I'm so excited to talk about. So stay tuned for that. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. It lets me know I'm making content that you like, and subscribe to my channel. And I'll see you next time. Bye.